we're here after Backlash, and was expecting Cliff to be here, but he's busy right now chasing tail, and the champ's not here tonight, and
I got it, okay? I'm here, alright? I got all the fucking gold. Alright? I get it. I'm the greatest ever. Okay? No one gives a shit about the other two. Alright, I got it, okay? No one cares. Okay? I got it. Alright, yeah, I'm here in this fucking pigsty of a room, okay? I got it. Fucking see you later. Sorry, I got bigger things to attend to besides paltry little things like this. When you're the GOAT, when you're the greatest champion of all time, you've got bigger fish to fry, alright, than a measly recap show. Apparently, Cliff has a bigger thing to fry, maybe a little fish to fry, maybe a little punani to fry. But the champ always comes back. You want to know why? You want to know why? Take a guess why. It doesn't matter why. Yeah. You want to know why? Because I'm the people's champ. I'm the forever champ. The people love me. They want to see me as champ. As you can see, we got a little Edward Hopper in the background, a little Nighthawks. Already bring a little class to this, whatever this is. I understand why you only show that one little bit of the wall from here on out, but the forever champ retained once again.
Hit me with the fucking title. Glad you could show up, bitch.
What can I say? The champ always makes time for his fans.
Yeah. Well, as you can see, we have a special episode where two of us are actually in the same location for once. No headset, no greenish, whitish, off-white wall. Don't know what the hell that color is.
You know, maybe a special episode. One thing has stayed the same. Yours truly is the champ. I retained because they had to call a goddamn audible. I retained because Brock was leaking and they had to have Cody roll him up and finish real quick because they still got to retain all their sponsors.
We've not done this in face-to-face. This is the first time we do it. So, do I do the introduction?
What do you mean?
Of the champ? I've had to do it through the laptop non-stop. So we do it now?
It's up to you.
Am I gonna peek? I shouldn't peek. I'm not gonna peek.
You've already been peeking, brother.
I peek all the time.
You're peeking. I'm peeking. We're all peeking.
It's peak. It's great. It's good. It's good. It's fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. You wanna know why it's be fine? You wanna know why it's be fine? Because obviously we have here me, Elijah, and right beside me we have the reigning, defending, undisputed ace in the hole predictions champion, Austen Garen.
Respect me, acknowledge me.
I really am pulling the Paul Heyman today.
Acknowledge me, baby. After a decent show, it was a decent Backlash. I mean, you know, obviously you had the thing with Brock Lesnar absolutely splitting himself open.
That sucked.
Covered in blood. I feel like they definitely had to rush that match along just because that happened. I don't know why that main evented and Bad Bunny didn't main event, which the Bad Bunny match, high key,
was the best match.
All-time classic. Like, it was such a great match because it was everything you expected. You know, Bad Bunny put on his signature celebrity-style performance. You know, he took a lot more bumps than I thought he would. Props to him. He took a shit ton of bumps. Fucking props to them. Damian Priest, man, deserves a fucking Oscar for he was selling that leg. He was selling that leg. He was telling, no, bro, stop, bro.
I think he tried getting an X thrown up doing one part of it.
Bro legitimately sold the hell out of it. By far match of the night. And everything else on this pay-per-view was safe. And I want to go ahead and call out fucking Eli and Cliff real quick. They said, oh, you're just making safe picks. You're just making the safe picks. Motherfucker, if I get the title, who gives a shit if it's a safe pick or not?
That Cody Brock match could have definitely gone a different way. I think I called it when Cody, I think he had done 2 disaster kicks to Brock. And Cody kind of went towards Brock's head at one point. I think they're calling something. And I think it was a Cody cutter into 2 crossroads, maybe, and then an F5 hit, and they went into the Kimura. I think at that point, the audible was hit. No, I mean, you can't really say anything else of it, because you saw them talking. I mean, they were talking for a solid minute before he went to anything else. So I think that's really... Maybe Brock would have won, maybe Cody would have won, I don't know, but there was definitely something else that was supposed to happen. Brock looked pissed.
Brock did look pissed, and I think he was pissed more so... Sorry if I'm looking at my phone. I got bigger things to attend to. Plus, I'm just trying to get the results up. That way I don't, fuck anything up. But, really, I think Brock was more so pissed at the fact that... See, I don't even need to look it up. You fucking got it right there. Fuck technology. That's why I always write shit down. People always get at me, and they're like, why do you use paper and pencil? Like, why don't you just do it on your phone? Motherfucker, I like paper and pencil. I like writing the shit down. You wanna know why? Gets put right in the fucking steel trap. Up here, in the dome. But, once again, I think Brock wasn't necessarily pissed at Cody or that he got cut open or anything. I think he was more so pissed that they had to rush the match along.
Audible that got called, because, I mean, that... What looked to be possibly building into a better match, because, I mean, it was starting to pick up momentum towards that, and I really think that drop toe hold is what kind of set it, because you see Cody kind of trip a little bit with it. I think that's kind of what set it into motion, everything going downhill real quick, and sucks. Hopefully Brock is alright, because, I mean, that was a deep cut. No, there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's gonna be a deep cut.
I think Brock will be... I think Brock
will be okay, but that's still...
It was a deep cut. It was right here, right above... It was like in the worst possible spot, too. Right there in the middle.
Any facial expression you make is going to cause that to bleed. I mean, that's... I don't know too much about the human body. I do believe there is a... Not an artery, but there's a major vein there that goes through. So...
Well, typically, rule of thumb, even in MMA fights, if you get cut anywhere, you want it to be from here down. That way it doesn't obscure any vision. And that was right in the middle.
It covered his eye immediately. I mean, you see him trying, check it out and stuff, and then it immediately is just he gets right over and he falls down.
He hits that drop toe hold, gets hit by that drop toe hold, and immediately I saw it and it caught his chin. I said to you...
We thought it was the chin at first, and then he goes like this to check, and as soon as he comes down, you don't see it, and it's almost like he pushed it, and all of a sudden, it just covered his eye, and he went down.
I literally, I put my hands up, I was like, oh shit, he took that right on the chin, and then literally 2 seconds later, face is covered in blood, like it's dripping everywhere, it's on his chest, it's all over Cody.
They never cut to his face the whole time.
They never did.
Not once did they cut to his face.
And even in the finish, they made multiple cuts away to try and get away from his face.
Until he got the towel.
The little deathmatch geek in me, I was because we watched the pay-per-view together, like we actually had to sit down and watch it together, everything.
For once.
And, which was great. It felt like old times again. But, I was sitting there, I was like, just zoom in on his face. Please, for the love of God, zoom in on his face. I want to see his expression through all this blood and everything. Like, I just want to see it. And, of course, they never did.
I think the closest we got was the Kimura lock when it was locked in before the pinfall. And I think that's the closest. But even then, they still kind of had it to the side angle. You're not going to see it fully, but we're going to show you slightly.
Plus, they still had that super wide shot. That's what they were sitting on a lot of the time. That way you couldn't really see a whole lot of the blood. But anyway, that was just the main event. We're drooling on about the main event. Let's see. So opening the show, I'm gonna do this from memory. Correct me if I'm wrong. Opening the show, we had Bianca and Io Sky. Mm-hmm. Bayley came out, costed Io the title, the win. Decent match. I think it was one of Bianca's more sloppier matches.
Yes.
But it was a decent match.
The shoulder injury that made no sense at all. She wasn't taped up or anything. There was nothing from my knowledge, building into the show that she had a shoulder injury. And it was just spontaneous, she has a shoulder injury. And they built up a lot of the match around it, and one of the spots where Io... This is a very botched up pay-per-view, to be honest with you, PLE. Because...
she got dropped right on her
She got dropped on her face at the beginning.
Yeah, so what had happened was since they were selling that shoulder injury,
She's like standing there fanning her arm.
yeah, Bianca had like that typical body press she does. She presses them up
and then just...
behind. Well, this time, since she had that shoulder injury, she was dealing with one arm, and she was like flailing it around, and you could tell Io was ready to like take the back bump like you normally would off of that, and Bianca just threw her forward, and she like spiked right on her face. So like we were talking about, I would not be surprised to learn that Io is out for a week or two because of a concussion.
I mean, it straight up, she stood there, and it was I think the left shoulder, which earlier in the match she was favoring the right shoulder, which, whatever, once again, was not built into the match to begin with, so they were on the fly with it. She has her up, and it's fanning off her arm, and then all of a sudden she kind of lifted her arm back up, and she goes flying off into the face first, smacked into the thing. I mean, it was not a pretty sight at all.
And then, so Bayley, also a little interesting tidbit that I kind of noticed it, but I didn't pick it up on it. I didn't say anything. Dakota Kai was like visibly trying to tell Bayley like, "Hey, don't go out there, don't stop it." And so further dissolution of the damage control, as well as Io loses, Bianca continues her historic run, and that moves us into Seth versus Omos, which. It was
a decent match.
It was what you expected.
I shake my head, but that's just because it had no build up to it besides like a couple of shows before, and Seth and Omos are going into it. I do agree with your statement of they could build Omos into one of the best big man, tall men in WWE history. They just have to. I don't know if keep him with MVP is the thing, but build him up on the mic and build him up in the ring.
The thing is, he is nowhere near good enough right now on the mic to be on his own, which is why he's with MVP, which is fine. Mm-hmm. It's perfectly fine. There's no rush there. He's still very green, very early in his career. That's why, and like you and I mentioned several times watching that match to your dad, like he's talked to The Undertaker, he's talked to Kane, he's talked to like all these all-time legends about being a big man and how to be a big man and the moves he should use and he shouldn't use. So, I mean, in the end, I think he has all the potential to be...
There was a lot of Undertaker in his moveset tonight. The Snake Eyes, the boot, which he has gone on record in an interview and said that he had got permission from Undertaker to use. There was also a lot of choke slams. There was a lot of old Undertaker, not Mean Mark Calloway by any means, but old Undertaker, like WWF era.
Like SmackDown Undertaker.
Yeah, like there was a lot of old, retro, new era of wrestler Undertaker there. No, he didn't do a top rope dive off into it. That was later Undertaker. It was more on drag, focus on taking your opponent down, and then being flashy later. And it worked out really well. And I don't see him winning in the tournament by any means immediately, but I do see him potentially getting a World Heavyweight Championship match eventually.
And then after that, Seth Rollins did end up winning. Mm-hmm. Was that the curb stomp off the top rope?
Yes.
Which I don't believe we've seen it from the top rope yet.
No.
I think it's only been from like the second rope, and that's like, oh my god!
Because the Randy Orton spot was he did the curb stomp, and he was running off the ropes, and then Randy Orton launched him up.
So I think this is the first time. I could be completely wrong. I don't know the history of Seth Rollins' curb stomp.
He also had a really cool setup to the curb stomp tonight, and we talked about it. It was I think it was off the middle rope. He did a forearm into the back of the head, which was reminiscent of Will Ospreay's hidden blade.
Which is such a good fucking move.
If Seth Rollins started using it more, power to him. I think it would be really good. I think it would be a nice addition to an already stacked moveset. But it looked really neat.
Not to mention, that crowd was absolutely nuclear for fucking Seth Rollins. And that's something I want to touch on real quick while we're just kind of bouncing back and forth. Also real quick, this might be a quicker episode, since because we're just here together, it's just us two. We can bang the fucking
card and everything.
Yeah, the card is right here. We can talk back and forth. So we're looking at maybe half hour, 45 minutes, honestly. But regardless, that crowd tonight was fucking hot.
Oh yeah,
that crowd was.
They let it be known that they were there,
and you didn't really hear it in the main event, which is an issue. You heard it in the entrance to the main event.
Yeah.
Which, of course, was the whoa!
Well, that Brock Lesnar injury happened relatively quick in the match, too. Because it was a very quick, I don't even think it hit, it might have hit 5 minutes, just over 5 minutes of a match. But there was no point that it started picking up momentum, and then it lost everything. I think the major thing tonight that happened was the turnbuckle pad that kept going up the whole night.
But that crowd tonight was absolutely nuclear, especially for Bad Bunny. They went apeshit for Bad Bunny.
Zelina Vega had a nice pop, and I think that he needs to capitalize on that. They could potentially have...
I think they will eventually. This was not her time by any means.
Well, and that's we talked about, that's what they did with Rey Mysterio was given different opportunities and stuff at the beginning, and then he won the Rumble. I'm not saying Zelina needs to win it by any means, but you give Zelina the ultimate underdog chance, and once she moves on with it, you are able to give her that chance with the belt. But you put her in a match with a very established wrestler or two. You could do it the same way as Rey Mysterio, which was Randy Orton and Kurt Angle, I think WrestleMania 21 maybe? Because it was WrestleMania Goes Hollywood the first time. And,
I think so.
And it was a really good, that was one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. I mean, it was a phenomenal match. I think it got a 4-star rating, maybe? I think it was close to 5, if I remember correctly. But it was one of the most memorable matches of Rey Mysterio's career, Kurt Angle's and Randy Orton's, and 2 of those guys didn't even win the match. So I think you could get that with Zelina. Finally, you have the chance with Zelina to do that. But
well, since we're already there, we'll go ahead and skip there. We'll just circle back around to the triple threat match, because that was after Seth and Omos was a triple threat match. We'll circle back since we're already talking about Zelina. Zelina did lose. Mm-hmm. She lost to Rhea Ripley, which was the right move. Like he said, she's definitely she's got that. I had a big word and I lost it. She's got it. If that makes sense. You know how sometimes people have it and they don't have it. Like I have it and you don't have it. That's just...
I finally got that one.
She has it. And that was very apparent tonight. It was her home country, all of that. Her hometown, I do believe. She's from San Juan. Her entire family was there. So, I mean, she can definitely become a big star. They just have to build her up into that. She's by no means ready yet. But I can definitely see a title on her in the future. And I don't think she'll win it from someone like Rhea or like Charlotte. Like, I think she'll probably take it off of someone who probably shouldn't have the title in the first place. Carmella. So,
Liv Morgan. I'm not even going to cough that one out. Just Liv Morgan.
So, I mean, I can definitely see a title in her future. But that match, that was a pretty decent match overall. Oh, yeah. She could afford to have a little more on the top. It looked like... she was one wrong move away from wardrobe malfunction.
Found a lot out about her tonight. Cousin is Amazing Red, didn't know that. Trained by TJP, which is TJ Perkins, who was suicide, manic, and himself in a lot of different promotions. I mean...
Currently in New Japan.
There's a lot of different... And she's had a lot of different stuff to her that she is a lot more vetted than a lot of people give her credit for.
She's also older than a lot of people think, too.
That was another thing of 32. I mean, I guess it's just Puerto Ricans, dude. Carlito still looks like he's young.
We'll get there in a minute. Calm down. But, so Zelina did lose to Rhea. Very safe bets. What should happen. Very, very safe match, too. It was what you thought. They put on a good match.
It was one of the better ones of the night.
And that was after... the triple threat match with...
This one was odd and rough.
With Bronson Reed, Bobby Lashley, and the United States champion, Austin Theory, A-Town Down, baby. It was a match. It was one of the matches.
I don't even know. The ending of it was a nice little heelish. Austin Theory throws Bobby Lashley out after the third competitor... and Bronson Reed misses his finishing move. Very gimmicked out of a triple threat in one of those cases. All of us lost that prediction.
All of us lost a lot of... not a lot,
We lost 2 predictions, and that's the match we'll get into here in a second, too. But it was definitely it was a match. I mean, I feel like Austin Theory and Bronson Reed could have put on a better match, just the two of them. I feel like Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed could have put a match on the two of them by themselves. I feel like Bobby Lashley and Austin Theory could have put on another good match by themselves. It was a bunch of one-on-one matches that could have happened. Instead, they did a triple threat match. And maybe do an elimination would have been a better triple threat match between them. Don't know at this point. Maybe they run it back again and try the better with it. But I don't think tonight was the night that a triple threat between those three competitors should have happened in any way, shape, or form.
My thing is, I think this was almost the perfect time to get the title off of Theory. He's had a long enough run. He's had a substantial run with the title. People know he's had the title. It's been very apparent. It's been felt. And he still, even after tonight, has yet to beat Bobby Lashley clean.
That is also
It's
true.
it's always been someone else. Like with
Seth.
with the first triple threat where it was Theory, Lashley, and Seth, he pinned Seth. And then
And I think that was after a spear as well. From
Yeah.
Bobby Lashley to Seth.
and the same thing here. So it's kind of just becoming a wash, rinse, repeat. Which when you get to that point in your title run, unless your name is Roman Reigns, you should just go ahead and drop the title. Because if you aren't continuing to be inventive and come up with creative finishes and creative matches, he's not having any bad matches by any means. Don't get me wrong. I've been on the Austin Theory bandwagon for
Years now.
a while, for a hot while, and
Because as I said tonight, as you, back when he was in Evolve, I think you had brought him up at one point because, number one, you guys share the same name, just spelled differently. And we got into a conversation about that. That's how I found out about Johnny Gargano. And I think Kevin Steen got brought up in that conversation too. But you've followed him for a little bit longer than I have. And he's put on decent matches. Tonight,
I was about to say wherever he's
kind
gone.
of was not a blemish, but it was kind of this one did not work as well
Yeah,
as...
and you're always going to have those matches. Not every match you're going to have is a fucking barn burner unless your name's Bad Bunny, but it's just one of those things where I think now is the perfect time to get the title off of him. I'll be interested to see if it's him and LA Knight. No, LA Knight's on SmackDown, isn't he?
Austin Theory's on SmackDown.
Did Austin Theory get drafted to SmackDown?
U.S. Championship win over there, and Raw has the Intercontinental now.
All I'm saying is I think that'd be one hell of
We
a
are
feud.
legit in the 2008 era of WWE again.
All I'm saying is, I think LA Knight versus Austin Theory for the U.S. title would be great. It'd be a great feud, and plus it'd keep them both busy until Money in the Bank when LA Knight's supposed to win his.
Supposedly, LA
Money in
Knight
the
is
Bank.
supposed to win it,
Yeah.
and supposedly, Io Sky is supposed to win the Money in the Bank as well. So I would be interested in that happening.
And it would just keep them busy. Keep
It
them
would-
both busy.
It would look nice. I think Io Sky is going to end up facing against Bailey. There's going to be a whole thing with Dakota Kai probably, but it's right now it's just keeping a lot of people busy as the draft kind of ends and trades get made. Inevitably they're going to get made. They happen every time we do a draft. So it's going to happen no matter what. It's just kind of seeing where everything progresses from here for that.
And so after that, it would have been the Rhea Ripley match, but we kind of jumped ahead. We moved around, and then next up was the Bad Bunny versus Damian
The
Priest.
double main event.
The double
That
main
was
event.
not in the main event.
The double main event that was broken up by a match in between. But once again, this Bad Bunny match, some of his best work, probably his best match since he's been back. This is the most streamed artist from in the entire world, all countries, most streamed artist, and he's out there taking fucking
Chair shots.
broken arrows through tables.
A
Simply-
trash can to the head with a boot.
Simply because
He can.
he can, and he loves the WWE.
Like
That's the only reason he doesn't need to do any of this. He's doing it because he fucking wants to.
different and
I
respect.
I think that's why a lot of people respect him.
Well, difference in respect from him to Logan Paul is number one, don't respect Logan Paul. Number two, he actually took time to train in the wrestling ring. His debut match, the Royal Rumble and stuff, and this match, he takes time to get prepared for it. Logan Paul went from YouTube to boxing, and yes, while he did boxing training, he didn't do wrestling training, and yes, while he has some amateur wrestling background, it's been years since he's done that. Bad Bunny had none of that. He has none of it, and he steps into the wrestling ring, he's prepared for it, and he puts on what should be 5-star or nearly 5-star matches every single time. I think the first one was him and Priest in a tag match
Against Miz and Morrison.
Miz and Morrison.
Johnny Drip Drip.
And then the Moist Boys. And then it was, I think, in the Royal Rumble after that, which that was still an amazing spot.
No, he had a match against Miz, I'm pretty sure.
He did, because Priest was his manager during that match, I think. I think it was during the wheelchair era of Miz, potentially.
I could be wrong, because Logan Paul also did the thing where he teamed up with Miz and then had a match against Miz.
There was,
regardless.
For sure, Royal Rumble. I think he had 2 different Royal Rumble entries. And then he, for sure, had tonight's match. Damian Priest pops up with him a lot. But...
And you gotta think, that speaks volumes to Priest as well.
Priest?
Like, this is the WWE's cash cow. Like, this is what's bringing casual eyes to WWE. And you're putting him in the hands of Damian Priest. Like, that's gotta be a huge...
Well, Damian Priest is a veteran of the wrestling scene anyways. I mean, I said it, Punishment Martinez. They need to give Priest a Punishment Martinez run. Which, yes, we'd have probably a lot more Extreme Rules and street fights from it. But I think giving him that run of... I think he was television champion as Punishment Martinez. I think he was tag team champion. I do believe he had been a 6-man tag in ROH. I do believe he was a world champion in ROH as Punishment Martinez. And Punishment Martinez was an amazing gimmick. I don't think they had to rename him at all. I'm not saying that, but I feel like it was more of an extreme, hence the name Punishment Martinez. It was a very good gimmick for him to have, and yes, while he has kind of gone away from it, you can still take aspects from that character and put it into Damian Priest. And we saw some of it in NXT, and once he got caught up, a lot of it disappeared. I feel like if they bring some of that back, he would have a lot more to him, and I think you probably could give him a main event push and a main title push, because he is vetted. He has put in the time and effort. He puts in the work, and we're talking about a guy who wrestled at indie halls and bingo halls and everything, and I think he at most was like 300 pounds, and he's slimmed down, muscled up, and he puts on the effort, be it a comedic gimmick and a comedic match, to facing Bad Bunny, to United States Championship matches, Intercontinental. He's put in time and time again. He's proven to be a loyal worker to WWE, and I feel like tonight was kind of a push towards, and even losing, I don't think it hurt him at all. I think, and I said it tonight, I think he's going to be the first one to leave Judgment Day, and I think he's going to get a push to the main event, hopefully, with either the new World Championship or facing somebody for the WWE Universal, be it Roman or be it whoever.
Truly underrated. I don't feel like people give enough credit to Damian Priest. Like you just named off all the stuff that he's done. The recognition he gets reminds me of long-haired Baron Corbin. Back when he would come in, do this shit week in, week out, have consistently good matches, and just be a workhorse. And everyone hated him. For no reason. And now, he's just a fucking comedy gimmick.
Well, have you seen the video of him in Paris?
Yeah, they love him in Paris.
Popped him in Paris. I forget who he beat. I think it was Rick Boogs.
Yeah,
he beat, and they popped the whole time.
Because
he won by a roll up.
Yeah, he was on a losing streak.
And they popped, and I mean, you got to do something with that. Come Monday or come Friday. I think he got drafted to SmackDown.
The thing is, he lost a lot of his mystique once he started becoming like bum ass Baron Corbin and happy Corbin and all that shit. And he got put with Madcap Moss. So I don't know what they're gonna do with him. He's got that WWE funk to him. He's been there forever. They don't really know what to do with him. He's constant mid card, just like Dolph Ziggler, just like The Miz. So I don't.
They can't just slap a belt on him either. It's at that point they can't just do that.
He's in a very tough spot, but Damian Priest is constantly doing these matches with celebrities in and out, and it's a huge testament to the type of wrestler he is. But back to the match itself. So they have their match for like 20 minutes or whatever, and then Judgment Day comes out, starts beating up Bad Bunny, and then Carlito comes out. And Eli goes absolutely fucking apeshit for Carlito. And then...
I did it during the Royal Rumble, too, when he came out. I went nuts during that. I am a huge Carlito fan through and through. I loved his Intercontinental title reign. I think he is one of, not the greatest Intercontinental champion, but one of. And I was talking with Austin about it. I said, he faced Umaga back in the day. He faced Jeff Hardy. He faced John Morrison. He faced a lot of... I think he faced Dolph Ziggler at one point with the Intercontinental Championship. He faced a lot of well-known names and a lot of future Hall of Famers and or Hall of Famers with the Intercontinental title on the line. He proved his worth in the tag division. He proved his worth in the mid-card title. No, he never really was the main event push kind of guy, but he did, kind of like Damian Priest, he did what he needed to in the position that he was given, and I enjoyed it. I loved it. I would play him in video games sometimes as long as I didn't have my one created character limit that this guy would give me on back on SmackDown vs. Raw on the Wii. I think I had Blue Man for the longest time.
You definitely did.
It was just a guy covered in blue.
But anyway, Carlito comes out, and then the rest of the LWO come out.
Savio Vega.
Yeah, and then they're fighting, and then Judgment Day's trying to run away. No. What had happened was Rey Mysterio came out, started fighting with the Judgment Day. Then Carlito comes out.
Numbers game.
And then they start fighting on the ramp, and then they start trying to run away, like typical Judgment Day stuff. And then Savio Vega comes out on the ramp and stands there for an uncomfortably
It was very weird.
long amount of time. And then
forgot to do. I think they were waiting for him to do this, the hand motion.
Yeah,
and I mean, he's not doing it for it.
So eventually he does like motion, and then the rest of the LWO come out, which typical. And then Bad Bunny gets the win. It was a good match, great match, probably match of the night. And then after that, we go to the 6-man tag match with Riddle, KO, and Sami Zayn versus the Usos and Solo Sikoa. And it was also a match. It was one of the matches. The Usos actually won. Solo won. The Usos didn't really do a whole lot to help. Solo won, and they made that very apparent that Solo won and the Usos didn't really win.
There was a point in the match where I think Jimmy kicked Jay because there was a tag. Jimmy kicked Jay. KO moved, and then there was another point in the match where, there was a tagging war between Jay and Solo, and then there was a point where all hell broke loose and Solo almost spiked Jay. I think it was Jay.
They had him by the throat.
And Jimmy didn't see any of it, I think. I think he had got knocked out by Sami Zayn. And then...
Yeah, because he hit the Luva kick on Solo.
Yeah, and so, I mean...
Did he get hit by the pop-up powerbomb, or was that Jay?
That was Jay.
Fucking regardless.
And so, there was a point where he's just holding Jay by the throat, ready to spike him, and Jay kind of talked him out of it and everything, but the seeds of deception have been kind of sewn in there a little bit, and Michael Cole hit it a lot during it, but I think it was before, that was after his I Twerk Alone random thing that he did.
He did say I twerk alone.
Yeah, I don't...
He's trying to hit that Batista theme song.
But I think it also proved a lot of the points.
I walk for miles inside the spin of anger.
I think a lot of points during the match.
I'm
gonna hit you with the bat that's over there. I forget where I put my...
If you're gonna do something, hand me my fucking drink. Hand the champ his drink.
Yeah.
Champ's fucking thirsty.
I think the I think a lot of points during the match, I mean, you could argue if you want, showed that Solo could be a mid-card, a very well mid-card champion.
I think he could be a major champion.
And I just think at first you give him either the Intercontinental or he's on Raw, so SmackDown, so you're going to give him the U.S. Championship at first. And I think Theory and Solo could be a very good rivalry. I think he's starting to get built up on the mic a little bit more. I think that once he fully finds that voice, it's going to be great. I don't think he needs to be paired with Roman and Paul Heyman the whole time, though. I feel like that's going to kind of stunt his growth a little bit.
I think once he breaks away from the Usos, he's going to be a lot more on his own.
And but I can see him being, not Rikishi with the Intercontinental Championship, but I can see him maybe more of Umaga, a little bit of tearing through the competition with reckless abandonment and adding his own little thing to it of he's the street fighter, he's the lone wolf of his family, which was the gimmick he came in with. Yep. He was betrayed by his family, left alone, and he debuted in NXT, did it, and wrecked house in NXT. He was undefeated for the longest time. I mean, he never lost the North American Championship. He had to forfeit it because he went up to the main roster. It was a streak that I think, kind of like Asuka's, once he went up to the main roster, it ended a little prematurely.
But it did, because they kept harping on it that Asuka had this undefeated streak and then fucking Charlotte beat her, which made no fucking sense. I'm still pissed about.
Yeah, and so Solo, and I kind of understand the storyline with Cody and everything, and Cody beating him was something that kind of helped progress it. Same time, you're trying to build up a future star, and you just spontaneously, hey, he's pinned now. It didn't help him. It didn't hurt him either, but I don't think it helped him in the way they might have thought it would have. And so, no one's going to be Goldberg and have this long-ass undefeated streak of 100-something wins before you get stun-gunned in the chest by Kevin Nash. But it's, at the same time, I think that building him back up as this brute force in the mid-card and then moving him up to, because maybe he is the one that dethrones Roman Reigns. I think it's a little too early for that, but once Roman hits 1,000 days, maybe he's done his mid-card shtick and he moves up to beat Roman. Maybe that's why he was sent by the tribe. But it's, he was a main part of the match tonight, and a lot of focus is put on him, rightfully so, in my opinion. I want to see where this storyline goes now because, I mean...
And once again, it's become the theme. It was a very safe match.
Oh, yeah.
The ending got both of us, like, it was a surprise. We didn't think the Usos would win, but the way it happened, it makes total sense. That Solo won that match. The Usos and Solo did not win that match. Solo won that match by himself.
Solo been knocked down and out, Jay would have been pinned.
Yeah.
Jay got hit with the Bo Derek, which I said is a move that I really do enjoy. It's one sit out away from an inverted Gotch style power driver, which was one of my favorite finishing moves. Minoru Suzuki does it in New Japan, and it's inverted of almost like Cesaro's old finisher, the neutralizer.
Mm-hmm.
And he hit Jay with it, and then Solo had a blind tag, which I said he tagged the rope because the middle rope started shaking and Jay was nowhere close to it. But he gets in, hits him, and then spikes Riddle. I mean, he picks Riddle up by the back of the neck and gets him, and Riddle goes inside out as he's rolling away. And Jimmy comes in like nothing happened during the match. And so the storyline progresses. The deceit is there. If you looked at the end, it was the Usos looking at Solo. The Usos were throwing up the one. Solo was doing his whole rage monster stick.
Going batshit crazy.
But he was staring at them the whole time, and as the camera cut away for commercial, he's staring at his thumb. Which has been a very big tell. If you paid attention, there's been a tell of stuff. When Solo starts looking at that spike, something's going to happen. So it definitely I think they're all on SmackDown and draft initializes. So either Roman's going to be there on SmackDown or Paul Heyman's going to say something. And I think SmackDown's going to be a major show to watch this week, for sure. No doubt that there's going to be something that happens. If there's not, they screwed themselves over. I fully believe that.
You're lucky I don't crack you over the head for the title for talking that much. You're cutting into the champ's time. The champ's got to meet a quota here.
Hey. You give me enough time to start talking about Solo, I'm going to talk about Solo. That's the only one in the bloodline.
You're lucky I don't crack you
He's
over the
the
fucking
only one in the
skull.
bloodline that I acknowledge.
Fucking drone on and on about some pointless ass bullshit. But no, it's just painting the storyline in the way we thought it was going to happen. Further dissolution, that's pretty much all this match was set up for. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the titles, the upcoming Saudi show, because Kevin and Sami don't do the Saudi shows. And are you just not going to defend the tag titles at Night of Champions? It'll be interesting to see how they handle that.
On Raw, you saw Kevin Owens looking at the SmackDown title, and they were talking about something. Him and Sami were talking about something. And before Matt Riddle comes up, Kevin Owens is just looking at the tag team title, and he just has it there, and is just staring at it. And he kind of just shrugs it away before he puts it on his shoulder. I think that, no, they're not going to get rid of it. Just, forfeit it. My watch is going off.
Goddamn what?
My watch is going off. It goes off at 12. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I didn't daylight savings it.
We can't fucking do shit around here. Jesus Christ. This is why I'll never be back here. Next time you're coming to me.
Yeah.
You're coming to me next time. Jesus Christ. Anyway, main event time. It was, for whatever reason, not Bad Bunny versus Damian Priest. It was Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes.
We've talked so much about this match.
The second of the double main events, and
the main event that didn't coincide with each other at all.
Let me throw the title back up here. Actually, I don't even need the fucking title. People know who the champ is. I'm the goddamn champ. I'm the forever champ.
Sting's the champ right now.
Lucky I don't fucking knock that piece of shit over.
Hey. I spent money on that.
No.
I don't need you breaking that.
But the main event, just barring anything we've already said, if Brock Lesnar didn't get cut open the hard way on the turnbuckle, probably would have been a very, very different match. I mean, that's about it.
It was very.
What are you doing back there?
Don't worry about that.
You're fucking interrupting shit.
I was expecting you to go on a lot longer.
We're literally in the middle of a podcast here.
I know what I'm doing.
Whatever, bro. Fucking so. I mean, is there anything else to say about this match?
That's the problem. There's nothing left to say. I mean, it was, like I said, it was about a 5-minute match. It was about 5 minutes, and that was about all it was. And there was nothing that they could really continue with it.
You can't even see what you put on the fucking TV because it's way too bright.
Yeah, no.
What are you doing?
I'm doing everything.
What the fuck are we doing here? What kind of operation do we run here? I as the champion...
Do you see how many times my head is not focused on what you're doing?
When my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut.
You move my ADHD. You move my ADHD.
Hey.
You move my ADHD over there.
Hey.
There's nothing left to say. We already said everything about this match. It was a 5-minute match. Brock Lesnar got hurt. We opened the whole... I think we spent about 10 minutes talking about this at the beginning of the show. You want a high five?
That's not the point. My point here is that I expect a certain level of professionalism.
You're not getting professionalism.
As the fucking champ,
I am wearing...
I expect a level of professionalism.
Do you see what I'm wearing?
I conduct myself in a professional way, week in and week out on this podcast.
Am I the champ?
So you should adhere. Maybe if you took a little bit of my class, maybe a little bit of my...
Then we would have been tied, and it would have gone back to you because the tie goes in the champ's favor.
Maybe if you have a little bit of professionalism, maybe a little bit of class, maybe take some notes on me. You got your little notebook there. How about you take some notes?
I don't feel like
about the champ.
No.
Because then maybe you'll have this someday.
Yeah. mark out to MJF, pretend to be MJF nonstop.
MJF wishes he could be me.
Wishes he could be you.
A
man in a multi-million-dollar, probably one of the biggest wrestling contracts.
MJF is the one that called me up to get his gimmick.
Probably one of the most...
MJF called me up to get his gimmick.
I'm not even making a comment on that one. I ain't even touching that one. That's a bold claim. That's a very bold claim over here. No, there's nothing left to say. We said it all in about 10 minutes at the beginning of the show of Brock probably could have possibly won that. I mean, the momentum was building. I don't know if it was a botched drop toe hold or what. Brock kept looking at it. We knew it was going to be a spot.
I fully don't know what happened there.
And it was Cody kind of stumbles forward a little bit, so I don't know if he put too much momentum into it or what. But Brock hits... We thought it was the jaw. I think he kind of slid down. That would be the only thing that would kind of explain why it was sliced up. Because, for those of you that don't know, it has a hook to it. And so the rope sits right on it. And for that to go cutting the way it did, he would have had to have not even... If he would have ran into it, it would have just been a bounce off.
Yeah.
He would have had to slid down it.
Which he did, because he hit his jaw.
And he hits his jaw, which, I mean...
I don't know how it got past his nose.
To the point to where he didn't cut his nose open, and that match got thrown out immediately, which if that would have gotten thrown out, it would have been a tie, once again.
And I still would have been champion.
And you still would have been champion. But I think the miracle is that it didn't hook him.
Yeah, because when he hits, like, let's say this is a little fucking turnbuckle. He hit with his jaw. That's like, oh, fuck, he blasted his jaw, and then all of a sudden, He's leaking. He's leaking, bro.
Hits here, and he goes down, and that's why I think it might have been too much momentum. He goes down, and he cuts, and he blasts his head across it. I mean, it gets him good, and it's not even a straight line. It curves. It curves around the eyebrow a little bit. So it's, at this point, maybe Brock comes back on Raw or SmackDown.
He's a free agent, so it doesn't matter.
Dude, I don't think he's showing up no matter what right now.
Doesn't matter. I'm still champ. Forever champ. Austen, two belts.
I don't think Brock was fully there for a little bit, because if you watched the Kimura, when he puts in the Kimura lock, he kind of just stares at the camera for a second.
Yeah.
Like, he's just straight up, like, he's trying to lock it in, and Cody's arm is still just flat out.
Well,
and he's just staring off
I think
away.
Part of that was just, like, the confusion of the moment, because I guarantee you the ref was like, take it home, and he's probably like, well, what the fuck you mean take it home? Like, we still have, like, all this match left, and then I guarantee you the ref's sitting there talking to him, he's like, fucking Cody, roll him up.
You see him, and he's looking at the ref doing this, man, and I think it kind of was a fast count. And so maybe they're going to incorporate that into storyline. I don't know, but it was
I think it was just sheer confusion of the moment is what I think it boils down to. But I mean, overall, Backlash as a whole, it was a decent show.
Probably one of the better Backlashes we've had in a while.
Unpopular opinion, we talked about this during the kickoff. I wish it was still kind of called WrestleMania Backlash. I know a lot of people don't like the WrestleMania Backlash moniker. I just think it gives the name purpose.
If they're going to keep the logo the way it is now, they need to add the WrestleMania back to it. If they go back to the old, like, Batista-esque logo to it, you keep it Backlash. If they don't go back to that, there's no reason to keep it the way it is. The stupid logos the words by itself looks absolutely stupid. Royal Rumble, typically they have a design with it, or there's numbers with it. The Royal Rumble logo looks fine. Survivor Series typically has stuff with it. Especially with the War Games now with it.
And Mania, obviously.
Mania is perfectly fine. I wish they'd bring the numbers back, but whatever. You have Extreme Rules, which typically has a huge X on it.
Uh-huh.
It's fine. Backlash has been one of those pay-per-views that has to have the... I don't even know what they were, like Spider Fangs, Batista-esque logo on it. It has to have that. Once they brought it back and never had that, it's looked dumb. And the WrestleMania, I think, is the only thing that added to it. And they took that away, and now you just have this huge-ass L. And maybe that's the bad luck of the shows, I guess. Is they have a huge-ass L, so might as well take them. And it just kind of... I don't even know. It's not something that you can put on marketing and go, oh yeah, this is the best show ever. See that huge L there? This looks fantastic. It's so stupid. It looks stupid by itself.
Know what else is stupid? You guys' fucking picks and thinking that you could become
I was
fucking champ.
had the main event not gone the main event, let's put that in quotation marks. Had the main event not gone Eli, I still think it would have been. It probably would have been
Alex
Eli.
Riley.
I said Eli. Did I say Eli? Had it not gone all off the wall and audible called, I feel like the Brock may have been able to. I think the audible was fully called with the
But
Haas
he
cutter,
didn't,
but
so he lost, and I retained, and I am still champion. I forever will be champion. So that's what it boils down to. Are we doing guess the wrestler this week or what?
I do have one for you.
Okay.
It's I didn't discuss the name of them. I just told you how many championships they had.
Are you still doing that one?
Yep. Do you want me to change it?
There's no way I'm
Do you want me
guessing.
to change it?
There's no
Do
way
you want
I'm
me to change it?
There's no way I'm guessing that.
Okay. I'll do it. I'll do a different one. I can do a different one. I got it. I got you.
But this is the point in the show where I'll go ahead and say it. I thank you for tuning in and listening every week. I really do appreciate it. I do know that this all is just all in good fun. We don't actually hate each other. Ish.
I really am gonna eventually grab that bat and hit you with it. It's one of those old school police billy clubs.
No, but we do appreciate every one of you. For whatever reason, our views were down that 1 week, and they've skyrocketed back up. So, thank you all for the bounce back week. We really do appreciate it, especially if you listen this long. It means you actually kind of give a shit about the product that we put out. So.
It was starting to get to the point where they were listening all the way through, and then it kind of hit the tank, and the retention was
the
not
great
there.
ace in the whole recession.
Yeah, the great ace in the whole recession. The recession of 2023.
We really do appreciate every single one of you that take time out of your day and listen to us. And since this is going to be a special setup, Eli is going to have to be the one that uploads it. So be prepared for another weird bio.
For everybody, what I did in the background, I think Austin's finally registered what it is.
I registered what it was as soon as you put it on. I knew what exactly.
How many years ago was that?
It's got over 100 views.
We hit like 107. 7 years ago, we made a YouTube channel, and it's me and Austin sitting almost exactly the same order as we are right now. And
I say if you're any whiz at editing, I say you go ahead and throw a picture up of it.
I probably could.
That way, like as we're sitting here talking about it, we can just insert it, and it'll come back to us. It's like some Edge and Christian type of shit, like some flash
put it
photography.
like right here. I could put it and put the logo of the episode or logo over here, and I could put the picture of it.
Because
over the side.
if I was at home, I could, but
I can probably get it done.
I'm back in our hometown for the week, so
yeah, I'll get it done.
I don't have access to my computer.
Yeah, like that's done in my kitchen 7 years ago. There's a can of Red Gold sitting on the freaking counter, man.
Jesus
oh dear
Christ.
Lord.
We both look bald.
Well, I mean,
shit, that was
to each
7
their
years ago, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
to each their own, man. You got more hair than I do in that. I have more hair than you do in that video, and it's flip flop right now. But I got you, guy.
So here, I can't cheat like I normally do.
Yeah. He's a former one-time Cleveland All-Pro Wrestling North American Junior Heavyweight Champion. He's a former East Coast Wrestling Association Heavyweight Champion 2 times. He is a former one-time GCW Cruiserweight Champion. A former one-time Hardcore Wrestling Alliance Heavyweight Champion.
Did you say GCW Cruiserweight?
Great Championship Wrestling.
So it's not the GCW we know. Okay. The GCW I'm a fan of now.
He's a former House of Glory Cruiserweight Champion 1 time. House of Glory World Heavyweight Champion 1 time. House of Glory Tag Team Champion 1 time. House of Glory Suicidal 6-Way Champion 1 time. That's actually the name of the belt.
Suicidal 6-Way Champion?
Suicidal. I wonder if Crispin Wall had that belt. He's a former Impact Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Champion once.
My tongue on that one.
He is a former one-time ICW Tag Team Champion, Impact Championship. I don't know if that's still the one that's in ICW that's still functioning today. He's a former one-time Maryland Championship Wrestling Cruiserweight Champion. A former one-time New York Wrestling Connection Interstate Champion. That's a big hit. He's a former one-time New England Frontier Wrestling Tag Team Champion. A former Premier Wrestling Federation Junior Heavyweight Champion twice. Pro Wrestling Illustrated ranked him number 87 of the top 500 singles wrestlers in 2010. He is a former Pro Wrestling Syndicate Suicidal Six-Way Champion one time. He is the former Renegade Wrestling Alliance Cruiserweight Champion once. He is a former ROH World Tag Team Champion once. He's a former 3-time TNA X Division Champion. A former 1-time NWA World Tag Team Champion. A former 1-time United States Extreme Wrestling United States Heavyweight Champion. A former United Extreme Wrestling / USA Pro Wrestling United States Champion twice. A former 1-time Unreal Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. And the only other title besides that is the HWVY Junior Heavyweight Champion once.
So this dude's never been in like any big companies. So why the fuck are you giving me him, bro? I don't fucking know. Oh my god, give me a hint.
There was 2 Suicidal Championships in that.
Give me a hint. Give me a hint. Like, give me a good hint. Because there's no, like, this dude has not been in any major promotion, so I don't...
He was in TNA at the very beginning. And he was a part of the startup for the X Division.
Watch your foot. You're going to make the fucking...
Yeah.
Might pick stuff up. Did we talk about him tonight?
I'm not going to answer that question. We talked about a lot of people tonight. Male and female. And one referee that my dad absolutely hates. Jessica Carr, you suck.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Oh, man. Is this Amazing Red? Bang!
You want to know who the other one was?
Who?
It was going to be Jake the Snake's sister, Rockin' Robin.
Yeah, there was no chance.
I believe she entered to the old song Rockin' Robin.
No, I know Rockin' Robin. We had to sing that shit in elementary school. But there is no way in hell I would have gotten that. And the only reason I got Amazing Red is because...
We talked about a whole... I love Amazing Red.
Well, you talked about him earlier, but you all, like, also... He wasn't in anything major. He was in TNA in the beginning.
The NWA. He was NWA tag team with Jerry Lynn.
Yeah, and that's, like, if that's it, and he's a big enough name for you to be telling me, I'm like, well, fuck, it's got to be like a TNA original. And I'm like, well, that narrows it down.
Yeah, I think the only other one that probably would have matched that would have been AJ Styles, but there was no WWE Championship.
Yeah, there was no in New Japan Championships either. Mm-hmm. Bro wasn't in WWE, New Japan, anything. So, I mean, that kind of wraps it up. I'm not reading off this week in pro wrestling history. That's delegated to Cliff, and Cliff is not here tonight. So, y'all get off the hook this week from that, from him droning on and on and on about whatever. And then my wrestler shout out, my Spotlight Pro Wrestler of the Week. Who should be my Spotlight Pro Wrestler of the Week?
I don't know, but you gotta close it out the way you just closed out that episode. Hand on the camera.
Oh my god. We're
straight up with him on the camera.
We're not doing that. How should we? Well, I'm not going to end anything until you throw Edward Hopper back on the fucking screen. What happened to the class I was here when I showed up? This is how quick you fall astray. Keep up.
Stray every episode, man.
Keep up.
We all stray further and further from
See,
perfection.
you only got fucking YouTube Premium, your poor ass. Fucking, we got ads.
I ain't spending money on that shit. Jesus you kidding me? Christ. I can watch YouTube without being on the app anyways. I don't need YouTube Red.
Also,
you think I need NFL
for those
Sunday ticket?
UFC fans out there? Cejudo did lose tonight. Sterling beat Henry Cejudo in his return fight.
I forgot there was even an event tonight.
I do believe that was Aljamain Sterling. I think Aljamain's his first name. So he beat Henry Cejudo in Cejudo's comeback match, which honestly, great. I'm not a huge Cejudo fan.
Anybody returning to the octagon is kind of You're asking to either get beat or hopefully show up and be able to knock somebody out.
I got my Spotlight Wrestler of the Week.
Who is your Spotlight Wrestler of the Week?
And I mentioned her in our blanking the whole episode. Rina Yamashita. Yeah, Yamashita. I don't know why the fuck I was second guessing. Like, I know her name. I don't know why I was second guessing myself.
I started hearing you saying, like, yeah, you got it right.
Yeah,
why are you not saying it?
I don't know why I was second guessing myself. But you know who she's going to be fighting in GCW? Maki Ito.
The hell?
Yep. It's going to be her versus...
Is it a death match?
I don't know.
Dear God.
I'm pretty sure I sent it to her.
Here's a
group chat.
fun fact. Tam Nakano... I can't even pronounce the last name.
Nakano.
Yeah. See, you're learning. You're learning and I'm digressing. She was in deathmatch wrestling in Japan. I think she was in GCW for a short time.
I'm trying to find the post that way I can show you.
But she was a deathmatch wrestler. Which is very odd seeing her wrestle around with like the Jewish star David on one knee and then everything else. But yeah, she was a deathmatch wrestler. And a lot of her matches were like light stick matches and they were terrifying matches to go back and watch. I think she fought Nick Cage at one point.
Maki Ito fought Nick Cage at one point.
Maki Ito's...
Maki Ito's fucking crazy.
She's got CTE.
I love Maki Ito.
I love watching her wrestle, but I worry about her health sometimes. Like,
I'm trying to find the post, man. I can't find it.
I'm gonna have 3 pictures at the bottom of the episode. It's gonna be the freaking... this painting, it's gonna be the logo in the middle, and it's gonna be the two of us in one show.
But no. She's my Spotlight Wrestler of the Week. I'm definitely going to watch that match. If it's on pay-per-view, I might buy the fucking pay-per-view. Because that match is going to be fucking insane. Because Rena holds a GCW title right now.
Correct.
So I'm pretty sure it's for that title. Because Maki Ito's been in GCW back and forth for a while.
Maki Ito has never won a championship in her whole career.
Which is... That's crazy.
That's her whole stick. Because she's never won a championship in her whole career.
But she's the cutest pro wrestler...
She had made a fan club, and she got betrayed by the only one that was giving her time because she kept being disrespectful to the tag team. Sorry, Japan fan here. She was being disrespectful and like would hit her partner, and then the girl walked away from her to join another faction. So she legit, her whole thing is either being backstabbed or never winning the big one, and that's her whole shtick. The whole thing about her.
Call her Dusty Rhodes.
She makes it work, but man, she has CTE at this point. There's no doubt about it.
I'm a big Maki Ito fan. I'm a big Rena
Coming from somebody with like 13 concussions, you got CTE. You got CTE. Like, I've barely escaped that shit. I ain't doing deathmatch wrestling.
No, but we met our hour quota. We actually got over an hour.
That was the Solo Sokoa.
But you drone on about 5-10 minutes about Solo himself.
Oh man, there's certain wrestlers that I enjoy. Just I could sit here for an hour talking about, and Solo's one of them at this point. Which
but I was about to say, I'm not doing Cliff Stick. He should have been here to do it.
I don't even know what website he goes on to even try doing that.
No, I meant like the 2024.
Oh yeah,
all
the 2024.
But
no, I still don't have my Stan Hansen figure, man. He would be standing in the ring if I had it.
I'm telling you, once you get that set up, you need to get a full
once I get the retro figures, I'll start setting them up and stuff.
You can have like an entire ass background. You got plenty of room in here.
No.
You got a lot to work with. You got a lot of potential.
I still got a lot of shit I still got to put up in this
You got a lot of potential in here. You got a lot of potential in there.
Yeah.
Right in here.
Yeah.
Take notes.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I gotta get the MJF scarf and the t-shirt.
I'm trying to lead you to the promised land here, and you aren't letting me.
Yeah.
I've taken you under my wing.
Uh-huh.
I've been trying to get you titles. Who was the one that had your back when you had the title?
That is fair. Hey, who's the one that's had your back multiple times when you've been attacked as champion?
All I'm saying is I've
taken
you under my wing.
I have been one of the most respectful challengers you have had this whole time. I went from losing every single predictions thing to being the one that has given you the most of a challenge at every prediction.
That's why I respect it. That's why I'm giving you the knowledge. That's why I'm taking you under my wing.
I have been legitimately the closest one that has dethroned you. I think I was the
Well,
one
tonight,
that dethroned
technically, you and Cliff were equally close because you only differed on one pick.
I was still above Cliff.
No, you weren't.
Cliff ended with, I think, 3. I think Cliff ended with
No, because
3.
Cliff had all the same picks as me except the one match. And you had all the same picks as me except the one match.
3, 4, 1, 2. I did finish because of Team freaking Sami Zayn. Dear God, that one was.
So, all I'm telling you is take notes. I'm trying to take you to the promised land.
Coming from the one that dethroned you last time.
Hey, you're talking to the greatest.
Uh-huh.
I have submitted myself as the greatest champion this podcast has ever seen.
You have been the only one that has been able to defend, and not only at Supercards,
twice.
But been able to defend it twice. That is fair and all to you. I give you your just dues. I am the one that has Paul Heyman your introduction how many times now? There is a reason I call myself the wise man of the podcast.
Well, that's just not true. And, all I'm saying is, take notes. You'll learn a lot.
I just love the fact that I get control over the bio again this week.
Well, I can't do it, because it's all up to you.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great.
But, that's what I say. I ain't got nothing else. We've hit on everything. This was very typical recap show. Stan Hansen figure, Stan Hansen lariat from hell.
Eventually.
All that.
It's supposed to be here. I don't know. It keeps getting lost in transit, I guess.
But I'll go on my shtick like I always do, as the loving and caring champion that I am. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Love one another. Make sure you're providing ample time for yourself. Be kind and compassionate towards one another.
What else falling?
And,
Yeah, that's the one you fucking hit me with at the beginning.
oh, quit your bitching. And yeah, just remember, no matter how much your gold or your drip wears you down, we've got you covered. Especially I do, being your champion. Because we're your ace in the hole. We'll catch you on down the road. Yeah.